Retired Navy SEAL Lieutenant Commander Rourke wrote a March 19, 2013 article called 10 Years After the Iraq War, We Are Better Warriors. In it, he wrote the following: "Wherever you stand on Iraq and Afghanistan, this much is undeniable. All that intense and prolonged combat experience has made us far better warriors than we've ever been before. A decade after American troops stormed into Baghdad, the U.S. military is a battle-tested, forward-thinking, phenomenally sharp fighting force, truly ready for whatever threats come our way. The same cannot be said about a nation of citizens with a highly selective demand for the truth. We are run by institutions that invest in our ignorance, and we eagerly comply in the perpetual pursuit of our values. Integrity be damned." John Adams saw the writing on the wall over 200 years ago. I fear that in every assembly, members will obtain an influence by noise, not sense, by meanness, not greatness, by ignorance, not learning, by contracted hearts, not large souls. Relative to what others have endured throughout America's history, our way of life has been handed to us on a silver platter. We have easy access to an unlimited flow of information, and our only task is discerning fact from fiction. Yet we honor our freedom by wallowing in bondage to the debauchery of platform politicking. The best way to honor our soldiers is to refrain from sloppily and unnecessarily putting them in harm's way. But in the event they must go off to war, I prefer President Reagan's philosophy on going into Grenada. Figure out how many troops you're going to need, and then double that number. There'll be less casualties on both sides. Rumsfeld's ill-timed quest to transform the military had disaster written all over it. Remodeling the military was a worthy goal, but I am far from alone in thinking that conventional warfare was called for in the invasion of Iraq. Some highly regarded military commanders felt the same way. But the culture of the Pentagon was not interested in such negativity.
What is, I think, reasonably certain is the idea that it would take several 100,000 U.S. forces, I think, is far from the mark.
It's hard to conceive that it would take more forces to provide stability in post-Saddam Iraq than it would take to conduct the war itself and to secure the surrender of Saddam's security forces and his army. Hard to imagine.
All of us in the Army felt just the opposite.
General Shinseki, could you give us some ideas to the magnitude of the Army's force requirement for an occupation of Iraq following a successful completion of the war?
Something on the order of several 100,000 soldiers are probably a figure that would be required. We're talking about post-hostilities, control over a piece of geography that's fairly significant, with the kinds of ethnic tensions that could lead to other problems, and so it takes a significant ground force presence.
Bush at War by Bob Woodward. One four-star general who worked with him said Rumsfeld was an egomaniac cleverly disguised, a hip shooter who gives the impression he is not. Another said if anyone disagreed with Rumsfeld, it was risky, because the result might be an ass-chewing from him.
But you've had a lot of Republican defections on Iraq as well. Just today, just a few minutes ago, Vanity Fair magazine reported that Richard Pearl and Ken Edelman, two of the strongest early supporters of the war, say that now they would not have supported the invasion if they knew how incompetent the administration would be in handling it. Listen to Ken Edelman. He called your administration among the most incompetent administrations in the post-war era. Individually, each team member had serious flaws. Together, they were deadly dysfunctional.
Well, I haven't seen the piece. I'm not going to comment on George.